Cool. Peace and love. Welcome to GYAPTOOTH. I'm your host, Azeem. We're doing something different today. I got a special guest, and before I introduce the special guest, I'd like to tell a little story about how we met. So this is way back in the day. I moved to the Bay Area when I was around 17. Started living with my brother, so maybe this was about, maybe I'm 20. And I was volunteering for a cultural center for the youth called Culture on the Corner. And we were doing stuff, helping out this brother named Mel. And Mel introduced me to an artist, a painter by the name of Zero Bey. And when I met the brother, one thing I saw that we had in common was he had a dark mark, like almost like a scar, like an old scar on his head. And at the time, I had one at about the same spot. So I told him a story. I said, hey, brother, I see you got the same scar on your head that I have. And I began to tell him the story. Yeah, I was on spring break in Daytona Beach, when I was 17 years old, 16 years old. And I was trying to show off for some girls. And I was so drunk that I dove into the water, but the water was only this deep. And so that's how I got this mark on my head. And as I'm telling the story, the brother's going like this. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And when I was done, he didn't laugh. Everybody laughs at that story, I thought. So I said, so how'd you get your scar on your head, brother? And he said one word to me that messed my entire head up. He looked at me and he said, prayer. And then walked out of the room and sucked all of the energy out of the room with him. And I was just sitting there in the back of this community center, surrounded by all these broken bicycles and picture frames, stuck. Because I realized for the first time, and all the books I've been reading about this and that and all this space stuff and Freemasonry and all this stuff, this brother was on a different radio station than I was on. And it was the first time anybody had really done that to me, like shown me that there was higher truths than the ones that I was living. And that brother became a good friend of mine. He's a very interesting artist. He's lived 4 or 5 lifetimes all wrapped into one. And I would like to introduce you all to Brother Zero Bey, if I can figure out how to get him back. How do I do this?
The participants here.
Participants. All right.
Great.
So, thank you. Shout out my host, the Tie Dye Butterfly. And this is GYAPTOOTH. Brother Zero.
Brother Azeem.
Peace and love, brother. Did you hear the intro story that I told about you?
Nah, I didn't hear the intro. I didn't.
All right. Well, it was about the time that we met, and how I had the dark scar on my forehead, and I giggled and told you the story of how I got mine because I was so drunk that I dove into the sand at Daytona Beach trying to show off with some girls, and I asked you how you got yours, and you said prayer, and how it F my head up. How I just F my head up, man. And then you walked out the room, and I'm like,
It's all right.
Yeah. So, yeah, that was the days of San Francisco Bay Area, Culture on the Corner. Those are some real charged and energetic times. We had a lot of close friends and brothers that have evolved since then. We have a lot of close friends and brothers who didn't even make it, through those times, So it was an amazing journey that we're still on. And, I just find it interesting because we're both artists in our own ways. Really, one of the first things I want to ask you is, because of I know everything that you've been through in life, what at the moment, before we even get into your work, which I see behind you, what at the moment is feeding you and giving you your fuel to keep going?
Honestly, I can only say that right now, I'm moving in an energy of
Speak up a little bit.
right?
Speak up a little bit, good brother.
Yeah. I'm moving in an energy that's basically you call destiny, right? After going through a lot of different transformations, growth spurts, and what have you, I've basically come to the clear realization is that this is what I am physically here to do. There's no other profession, no other career, no other real endeavor outside of manifesting through brushes, words, lyrics, music. You know how we do.
Yeah, indeed.
This shit is like, it's us.
Yeah.
And I recognize us. I see us on a global and a galactic scale. So that made a lot of growth. Thinking, I did. Yeah.
Yo, that's real powerful that you would say that, because it's rare to find people in this society today that are willing or have found their purpose. Finding your purpose, I think, in life is one of the most blessed gifts that you could ever receive, because it keeps you from the rat race of chasing. I remember before I knew I could write, before I knew I was good at writing, all I did was get in trouble. I was constantly trying to impress somebody or fit in, or just, I was always outside my proper persona, in one way or another. And when I came into to more and more knowledge of self and began to embrace, as you say, the fact that I'm an artist, and that, the purpose is to affect people and raise their vibrations and raise their frequency as much as we can with our work.
Right.
So
what I draw on that is this. Basically, it's like you just spoke of the idea of coming into a knowledge of self, right? That process I found later in life was embedded in reading. Reading is fundamental. Literature, by beginning to explore the lives of other women and men that predate us, I began to understand and see that the shit that I go through in many cases were minimal compared to many great philosophers, writers, artists that predates us, right? So when I look at my life and the conditions and the things that I have available to me, the way my family structure may be set up, basically, as long as other motherfuckers in the circle is peace, I'm at peace to pursue what I have to do. And with that, I understand through reading, through literature, that I got it pretty easy. So I better keep getting busy and staying busy doing this shit.
Right.
Otherwise, I just think that, existence, my personal existence, is futile at that point.
Yeah, if you're not serving your purpose, what are you doing? It's like, it happened to me too, because I was like, okay, what are you? I'm a writer. I'm not just a rapper or poet or whatever. I'm a writer. So for months, my mom was going, you're a writer? Well, Negro, why ain't you writing?
Right.
If you're a writer, right. And it took a while. And then once it really clicked and kicked in, I just embraced it. But let me ask you this. My brother. You did a stint as a Muslim, as a Moor. You did a stint in the U.S. military, not knowing that they were about to go to war.
Right. Right.
Went in to get some
Right.
science, some military science, et cetera, et cetera.
Right. Exactly. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
and you ended up going to Iraq as you. So first of all, can you just tell us, like, I remember a story that you told me about being in a temple in Earth. I believe it was in Earth, and the energy and the vibration that you felt inside that temple.
Right.
Can you tell the people? I think the people will find that story very interesting.
Well, I mean, do you want to start with the whole the episode, right?
Yeah.
Because in terms of the background, um, I made a radical decision to do that at a time that, you know, everybody around me was totally questioning, like, yo, what are you doing? This is out of character. I
Right.
thought you didn't believe in this, that, and the third. Basically, that being serving in the U.S. military, right?
Right.
As a black man, right? I mean, what was Chuck D's first verse in that joint? He says, I got a letter from the government the other day. I opened and read it. They said that
Yeah, they were
sucker.
suckers. Yeah,
They
yeah.
wanted me for
The army
the
or
army. They
whatever.
wanted me to
Yeah.
pitch me giving it. I said never.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. So here it is. This kid, I didn't grew up listening to them rhymes. You know what I'm saying? And inculcating all of that message, right? That black nationalism on that tip. And then I make this decision to join the army.
Mm.
Reason being that I basically was looking for another skill set that I felt that was gonna be utilized in the future.
Right.
Didn't know what that future looked like, where it was gonna be, but there was something in my bones that said this science is necessary to put in your toolkit. So
Mm.
here I go. I do this, and then the towers fall. Boom, bak, yeah, here it go. I got to go to Iraq. Now the ironic part about that, or the fateful part about that, is that we go to Iraq, but Iraq is an ancient place. It's a place that predates modernity and postmodernism, right?
Mm.
It's a place where basically all of the Abrahamic prophetic laws and rituals and symbolism that comes from that arena, the land between the Euphrates and the Tigris River. So basically, I was ejected out of this world back into almost an ancient civilization in some context, right? Or at least the roots to some of these things that we came up learning, right? Shia Islam, the Imams, cities like Najaf that were very critical to some of the stories of heroes that we've learned about as Mos and the Rabat.
Yeah.
So we had to like expand and expound on those things too. Bring it all the way back around though. Yeah, even in combat, I was privileged with being able to kind of go outside of the combat outposts. One time we rode with this, you know, the clergy dudes in the army, right? The
Yeah.
dudes in the army that their job is to be the clergymen. So this dude, European, he wanted to see some sights, and we had some time, so we took a roll, and he ended up taking us to this spot, and it was like this ancient temple. It was in Ur. It was right around Nivea, the city where who's the prophet that gets spit out of the well? Jonah.
Jonah. Yeah, Jonah.
Jonah. Yunus in the Quran. Yunus.
Eunice.
So yeah, so the city of Nivea, where he has to go and deliver his message, and he refuses, gets swallowed up, gets spit back out later, does his job. So we in Nineveh, and Nineveh is inside of Nineveh, outside on the outskirts of Nineveh is those temples, Ur and what have you,
Yeah.
where they had some of the old ziggurats, the Tower of Babel and all of that. I was blessed to be able to see a lot of those Sumerian statues that are formed with lions' bodies, the wings.
Some of them look like brothers too. Let me ask you: you seen some Sumerians that look like brothers that were like really actual black skin? Because I seen some of them. I was like, oh, I never seen black. I didn't know them was on the walls.
I didn't see it. Nah, everything that they had there was pretty much like alabaster.
Oh, right.
Stone, and engravings with Sumerian texts, and they
Right.
had chambers. And in these chambers, it was just four-cornered rooms with nothing but Sumerian text all on the walls, right? Outside of the chamber, when you're walking down the hall, you see the angel that's holding the pine cone with
Right.
the wings, got the long beard.
Yeah, wearing the
So yeah, I
watch.
would say
Got the watch on.
in
Yeah.
Dio, right, right. So that was one of the features of being over there during that time period. And at the same time too, I was reading a lot of different material as well,
Yeah.
related to uh, the Anunnaki. The
Mm-hmm.
Anunnaki.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I got in the Anunnaki text.
Right.
And
Right.
yeah, it had the actual visual experiences of being in those spaces, right?
Yeah, yeah.
You know, went into one chamber and there was nothing but silence in the chamber. And I took off my K-pot, my helmet, put the helmet down, and then started hearing a large vibration. Picked up the K-pop, put it back on the head like I don't believe I'm hearing this, right?
Yeah.
Put it back on, and then the sound went away. I took it off and it came back.
Mm.
Ever since that day, Mo, I hear that in my head.
Mm.
Sound like the universe.
Mm. Yeah, that's heavy, man. That's heavy, man. Well, alhamdulillah, you made it back. You made it back safely. So I see what's
Yeah.
behind you. What's that work that you sitting in what that you in front of right now? What's behind you right now? That image.
What's behind me right now? This is a mural that I'm working on right now. So I moved into. I'm in a new studio, L.A., California. You know what I'm saying? So I'm in L.A. out here, close to the water. So I'm at Redondo Beach. You know how you love the water.
Yeah.
We got that affinity for water, so we close to the water. And this just happens to be one of the murals that I'm working on currently. All right, so we might be able to see the extent of it.
Yeah, I'm seeing you got some galacticism going on. That's wow.
Right. So this whole thing about the intergalactic, right? It's Africa Bambaataa and the soul sonic force in visual form. You feel me? This is I'm coming straight hip hop with the visuals.
Right.
So everything, that we get sonically, looking for the perfect beat.
Yeah.
This is where we going with it. Renegades of Funk.
Wow.
So there's a soundtrack that goes with this, and it's intergalactic.
Yeah, I
We
see.
have to take it out.
I see planets in there and all that. And the thing is, it look alive. That thing is alive. It's alive. It's going like this. Wow.
So I'm still pulling elements out of it. It's incomplete.
Yeah, you still man. I don't know, I don't really know. It's compelling. It's beautiful. It's a beautiful piece. Like you just want to stare in, you want to walk into it, and just explore all of that, man.
Right.
Yeah. Nah. It's amazing, brother. So you're selling your stuff in galleries as well?
Right. Basically, the work that I'm doing right now is work that I'm curating for my family, as well as looking for collectors, people who are actually on the under the scholars, institutions, right? As well as regular normal citizens. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But there's different formats and different forms. For the most part, I'm just building up caches of work, so that I got years of curated work for sale, for trade, collabos, all that, right?
Yes,
Trying to take this shit further than just regular burners that come on the murals. Like that'll get knocked down eventually over time, right? We don't never own the buildings and the properties.
Right.
So not only that, but I see that I'm following a tradition. The tradition is the brush. I'm a painter. You know what I'm saying? I don't play, you know what I'm saying? I don't play a piano. I'm not a jazz man in that sense, although I did get a sax.
Right.
Got me a sax right now. But I'm trying to stay in this vein, right? This is part of my inheritance. My daddy's an artist. He's an active living painter right now, right? So I got some big shoes to step in on that. I got youth behind me, seeds of my own who are on the path of fine arts as well. So in terms of what Negroes call Black excellence, right? Demonstrate Black excellence through this. You know?
That's heavy, man.
We ain't the first. Basquiat ain't the first, bruh. You feel me?
Nah.
There's other men.
Or the last.
You know,
first or the last, yeah.
Or the last, you know.
Right.
So finding how, looking and seeing how in the past, basically we dealing with a market. You know this market as well as I do. There's basically they cannibalize us, right? Cannibalize our materials, our products, our cultural products that we produce.
Words, everything. Fashion.
Right.
Everything.
Right. The whole nine. And then they wait for you to be in the ground, right? They wait for you to be 6 feet under, eat with the worms.
Then they
try
flowers.
to copy your shit.
Right.
Yeah, they try to give you flowers, you know. It's like, nah, F that. I want my flowers while I'm here.
And then your family gotta fight for the scraps.
They gotta fight for scraps because the work hadn't been put in to actually curate the work.
Right.
To create a consortium, right? Between my father got probably over 2,000 paintings.
Yeah.
In his cache.
Yeah. What's your father's artist name?
That's Kaboo. My dad is Kaboo. Kaboo MB2.
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 MB2. Kaboo MB2. Yeah. That's dope.
Yeah. So we pushing Nolda. Nolda is our brand. The brand Nolda, it basically means no limp dick art. You got that shit copyrighted.
Hey, let me ask you this. What mediums do you use? What type of, cause like behind you now, is that spray paint along with paint on top? Like what am I looking at behind you? What do you use for that?
Yeah, what you're looking at is a combination of different mediums.
Right.
So right now I'm working with the Gold NC acrylic professional spray paint. It's Montana.
Right.
They got 2 different brands, right? And this brand is specifically for bombing.
Right. Wow.
Purely
for those who don't know, bombing is graffiti art. Yeah.
Graffiti art. When I say bombing, I mean doing what this is called. This is a burner.
Yeah.
For our audience, that's a burner.
Right.
And a burner. Then this is hip hop language. See,
exactly.
we have a glossary of terms.
Exactly.
So when terms like bombing came in, things like that, those are hip hop terms. It's not counterterrorism terms.
Right.
Feel me?
Right. Yeah. You know,
here it is yet again.
Right.
They didn't hijack our culture and turned it on it against us.
Yeah.
Moving on.
Right.
So that golden acrylics. Golden.
Yeah.
This is a nice
Woo. Yeah. Right.
Then on top of that, with the brushes, because I got to pull everything out with the brushes, is primarily just various
colors for the palette.
Right, and these are acrylic paints. So I use the acrylic paint medium. That's my main medium.
Yeah.
Right. Most of the paintings that I do are on canvas. They're canvas paintings. I stretch my own canvases. Uh, Basically doing the things that are required in terms of the craft, right? Because there's a craft and a trade format that goes with this. So I'm not just like painting on this or that just because.
Right.
I also know how to construct a canvas, make a frame, stretch that canvas on the frame, gesso it, you see.
Right.
So those are also aspects of this whole thing as well, right? And those are the types of things that I tend and actually want to continue to share with others, young artists that's coming up behind us, right? It's one thing to go to Michael's. Basically, Caboose said, you can go to Michael's when you got a hobby. But when you're doing this for real, when you're doing this for real, you got to go to the spot where you got the real paints.
Yeah.
You got the canvas.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. It's really, you know, it's truly a lifestyle. You know, it's really not a hobby. It's a lifestyle.
Word.
No. And it's not for play.
It's not for the weak-minded, Mo.
Not for the weak-minded.
It's not for the weak-minded. Nah, it ain't for the weak of heart either. You know.
No, just being an artist in general. Because look, here's the thing, and this is the part that I want to, you know, that we're gonna start rounding it off on. But for painters, singers, poets, in particular, and actors, all those forms, dance, all the forms, the people who up until before Elvis, those people were not respected or highly regarded. The idea of getting rich off of singing, for example, before Elvis was ludicrous. Once they invented the record, and then he saw it, he was like, what? You know, and that whole industry was created after that. It was the same thing with Hollywood creating movie stars. Shakespearean actors, for example, were damn near spit upon in everyday life, but they had no choice to do it. They were actors. They knew that's what they were. Painters and sculptors. If you were lucky, you got a commission. But more than likely, these guys, Van Gogh and all these dudes, they didn't get their flowers while they was alive. You know what I mean? They got them later. Afterwards, their stuff went up. So, you know, but he had no choice. He was a painter. So my point is, before money came in, there weren't thousands of singers and thousands of painters and thousands. There were very few. You know, it was almost like, yeah, I wish I could, but I'm an artist. Like, it was almost like a curse, a blessing, but as far as society was concerned, a curse. Like, oh, you're an artist? You'll never eat. I know, but what am I gonna do? It's what God made me, you know? And so in today's world, it's very hard to, well, it's not hard, but you have to look for those people who are still that from those times. And it doesn't matter the fact that there's millions of dollars being made off of it, or people are getting rich and buying houses in Beverly Hills off it. That's not the motivation. And those people are hard to find. I know for a fact, as you are my brother, that you are one of those artists. So I just want to salute you for holding that torch up, also maintaining your integrity for the 3 and 4 lives. We haven't even covered your past LA background. You know, you go back to the syndicate, to the Rhyme Syndicate, and Ice-T and WC and all of that. So
DJ Crazy Tunes.
Crazy Tunes, all of that. Mad Circle, you know what I'm saying, which was Cypher, you know what I'm saying? It brings everything back. You know, you know, so I know for a fact that you're a piece of living history, Mo, you know. And so, you know, definitely salute you for it. If you could let the people know where they can contact you, and also maybe either see some of your art or contact you to purchase some of your art, etc.
Right. Well, thank you, Mo, for this opportunity to do this with you, right? Because I've always highly respected you as an artist and as a brother. You was the first person that came on the scene with this text, Invisible Man by Ralph Ellison. And we had no idea what you was looking into at that time, right? And so what I'm doing and what you doing, this is future, present, past, right? We are in a time period where I think it is upon us as artists to create movement. All right, the Harlem Renaissance put us on the map, showed us our potential and how we could actually market what we do as well, right? So now we got that. We got social media. That's the main way that I can be contacted at this particular point in time.
Right.
Building a website slowly, and I got my architects working on that. Currently, I can be reached at Zero Bey, zero, that's ZeroBey, 0, the number, on IG. You can see some works. If you're interested in having a conversation, working on collabos, commissions, you can DM me.
Yeah.
At that point, we'll communicate through email, so forth and so on, and build and work on projects. Because basically, it's like now we got like buku numbers of artists and people who are striving to be artists. And just like people are getting into crystals and they reawakening to higher forms of building DNA strata and quantum physics and all of that, right?
Yeah.
We got the Cash App, we got social media, we got the email. So yeah, that's how we'll build.
Yeah.
I hope they got that, right?
Alhamdulillah.
ZeroBey, 0 on IG.
Yeah. ZeroBey, and then the number 0 on IG.
Yeah. EY,
Yeah.
Mo, Bey. Yeah.
Bey. Yeah, that's what I said. Bey, right? Zero Bey. Maybe I got it wrong. Zero Bey, 0. Yeah. Alhamdulillah. Hey, man, it's been a pleasure building with you, brother. There's so much more that I think we can go into, but I want to leave some of that either for next time or for people to just kind of look into it themselves and kind of discover who you are as an artist, because I know that it's going to take them on a journey. And yeah, man, this moment is history. You are a living legend, continue to be, and we love and respect you, my brother. So continue doing your thing.
All right,
yes,
one
sir.
love, brother Azeem.
One love. Peace and love. All right.
Peace and love.
All right, everybody. Let me see. Let me try to get him off of here. You've been listening to GYAPTOOTH. That was a special episode interviewing Brother Zero Bey. And we out of here. Got some more things coming up soon. GYAPTOOTH. One love.
I know, I fucked that up, didn't I?